Oh, you go your auction rates. You've got about 2 minutes now.
Okay, thank you, no problems at all. Clearance rates were 77%. Now, I say it was cooling. It was up 2 points on last week, 68% last year. So it's higher than last year. So I don't know where they're getting this from, other than to say that 800 properties went up for auction on the weekend, which is almost twice as much as normal. Yep. And there are a lot of vendors out there looking to see whether they can make any extra money. Sydney was the best, 77.8. Melbourne was the best at 78.6. But the incredible ones, Brisbane, 61.8. We talk about that all the time. Canberra, 81.1. Adelaide, 81.4% clearance rate. Tell me where the heat's gone, because I can't see it.
So, sounds good. Stuff coming on the market.
0.41% up.
Charles, you're so generous.
Up. It's wonderful. Only negative 0.47% over this time last year, so we're actually starting to catch. New Zealand is negative 0.8% over this time last year, but up 8.4% this week over last week. In Canterbury, Auckland, those areas are really performing very well.
It's a good time to get on the market now before the usual summer seasons come, and stock will go up at that time. So it's a good time.
Because when is that market? When is that spring and summer change?
I think it's already here. I mean, there's a heat wave now, isn't it?
Yep.
It's already in.
Okay, residential rents.
They're pretty good. You know, Sydney actually went negative 1.15% like Perth. It went negative 1.41. But Victoria was going okay. It evened out. But Brisbane, again, a surprise. The Brisbane market is having a good positive change, up 0.22%. So for the year to date, the rents are down 0.73%. From this week over last week, but the year to date is down 1.92%. So it's not that bad. It's still pretty steady, still pretty strong. But the vacancy rates, which we need to talk about, and they're the ones that are going to impact on the rents.
Let's talk about them then.
Can we talk about those?
Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. Great timing. 2.99% for Sydney, up. That's climbing a bit more than it should. Oh, it's great, isn't it? Just perfect. And from that point of view, it's scary. 2.99. Melbourne rising too quickly at 5.71%, and Perth at 6.04%. So the average is lower than last week, but it's still just under 5% at 4.91%. So I'm keeping an eye on Victoria and still keeping an eye on Perth.
And apart from that, everything else is rosy, and we're all happy.
Rosy. Thank you.
Sounds good. Charles Tarbey, Century 21, Anthony Bell from Bell Partners. Good to see you both. And good to see you as well. We'll be back next week. Until then, I'm Chris Gray. Good night. Well, let's jump to the numbers. What's happening with the clearance rates?
Well, you heard Tom say it's softening and people might be selling before auction. He knows it's not really softening because the clearance rates are still up there. And the clearance rates, and you haven't heard the newspapers come out and talk about Sydney this week. A couple of weeks ago, for every week they were saying that the market had softened in Sydney. Well, the clearance rates are 76.5%. Now, last week they were 77%, just over 70%. There's not much has changed. And this time last year it was 70.8%. But Sydney is 80.3%, I'm sorry. So if you think about that, over this time, the last few weeks has been in the 70s, where is the softening going on? Because it ain't going on in Sydney.
Now, with the clearance rates, does that include if someone sells a week before, does that still count as a clearance?
Well, it should. It should, because it's part of the auction process, because they count them after too, because they'll farm them for a week after to see how it all went and get a totally different figure. But 80+% in Sydney is very, very good. Melbourne was 76.5%, but the really outstanding one has been Canberra for the last few weeks, and that came in at 77.4%. So Adelaide 71.2% and Brisbane 60.2%. So I'm pretty happy with that.
And we'll jump to the homes advertised for sale.
Plus 6.8%, so there you go. And also up 1% over this time last year. So we now have more stock on the market than we had last year. New Zealand negative 1.4% in stock over last year, but actually up 4.1% this week.
And rent price movements?
Yeah, I've talked quickly about not so much this week over last week. Let's talk quickly about this time over the start of the year. Sydney up 0.53%, Melbourne up 1.51%. Perth worryingly 7.85% negative for Perth and 9.42% negative for Northern Territory.
Wonderful. And very finally, the vacancy rates.
3.13 for Sydney, 5.34 for Melbourne and 6.5 for Perth. It's really a struggle over there. 4.99% overall, Chris.
Wonderful. Sorry to rush through the numbers. We've just got too much to talk about.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. That's good.
Steve Carroll from realestate.com.au. Thanks for joining us as a guest speaker on here. Charles Tarbey, as always, good to see you. Thanks for joining us at home. We'll be back next week. Until then, I'm Chris Gray. Good night.
The information featured in this program is general in nature and therefore should not be relied upon. Guests appearing on the program may have commercial arrangements with some of the companies mentioned. Before making any investment, insurance or financial planning decisions, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise whether your decision is appropriate for you.